Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. It's your boy AntMoe. Trapping out of Bendo. Whoa. Let me with your big baby. Welcome to Wayne's Words. My middle name, young Timbat. Welcome everybody, you know what I'm saying? Damn, y'all do something. We always gotta do something to entertain. Y'all do something. I ain't good. Alright, my bad. Welcome everybody, all my first time and casual listeners to the Wayne's World podcast. You come on back round now, you hear? Show them boys how you do it up in Harlem there, boy. And for all of you wayniacs out there, I see ya. Corazon boy, you know what I'm talking about? Welcome, man. We love y'all. We thank y'all, everybody. We pray that you stay along for the ride because it's going to be a good one. You know what I'm talking about?
That way.
And like I said before, I'm your boy AntMoe, hosted with the mostest. I guess we got Randy C in the building.
Hey, Randy C, man, that's my whole name.
Yeah, live and direct from the couch. Ouch, you know what I'm talking about?
Hey, let me, real quick. Hey, I ain't tell you, I bought a fax machine on it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got me a fax machine.
2021, you bought a fax machine?
Yeah, I bought me a fax machine on it.
Let me guess. First fax you came through was something from old faithful listener.
Yeah, old faithful listener. Yeah, how you know?
That boy lied through his old boca.
Yeah,
that
man.
boy lied through his little boca.
Yeah, somebody faxed me an old question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, they faxed me an old question to the new fax machine, folk.
Okay.
You want to know what you say? What it say? You say what it say? Man, hey, I mean, it was really a dumb question, bro.
Okay. Oh, it was.
Yeah,
I bet it was.
Because there's a Christian podcast.
So if it's a dumb question, therefore, why would you bring that to my situation?
Hey, because I had gave him word that I was going to at least ask it on this show.
You got to be a person.
You say
of your
what
word.
it say?
You got to be a person.
Okay.
You got to be a person of your word.
And I looked at the paper, man. It's like
What that old paper had said.
Hey, can we cuss on here?
Yeah. Well,
they want to know what type of podcast.
Hey, old podcast. Hey, Fat Meat Grease
Is.
All right then.
All right.
Man, what's understood don't have to be discussed.
Because
that's what they said. Hey, what's understood don't have to be discussed. You know what I'm saying? And so for all you first time and casual listeners, you may be wondering, what is the Wayne's World podcast about? I'm glad you asked. Essentially, we desire this to be a safe haven for the believer. We want to water the world with grace. And so it is for the modern male believer who desires accountability, encouragement, and entertainment. Essentially, we want to talk all things faith, fatherhood, and manhood. And so with that being said, what people been wanting to get to for a while now.
Uh-oh.
Season Forsakers.
Talk about it.
God will take you through a season of life again. Sometimes because you don't appreciate it. So we want to talk about being in some seasons of life.
Yeah.
And for me, especially, I've had to go through some things quite a few times because I didn't learn my lesson the first time.
Yeah.
And number two, I didn't appreciate what God was trying to show me in that season of life. Randy?
Yeah, man. Identifying a season that you're in is quite important, bro. I've been in this season of life here now in this single stuff for a year and a half, whatever. And I just had to be, it's foreign to me. It doesn't come easy to me. It's actually quite tough. And so I think I was sharing with you before you noticed. I was like, well, I mean, I'm off this and another, and I like share some stuff, and then I just had to come to grips. I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
It doesn't mean something's bad. It doesn't mean I'm stressed. It doesn't mean I'm pressed to be married. Because I'm not. Life is good. But I'm uncomfortable simply because it takes work trying to walk this out God's way. It's tough. And so admitting the season that you're in and just recognizing where you are, I'm good, but I'm uncomfortable. Because it's not coming easy to me like everything else
normally does.
Yeah.
And let's just take it a step back and go even simpler. Recognizing that you're in a season. Not the type of season, but that, hey, this is a season. You know, so many times as believers, as humans, man, we can get to a place where we're just going through life.
Yeah.
We're not stopping to smell the roses. We're not saying, oh, okay, I've seen this before, or, you know, anything that could make something not just a monotonous day that we're living.
Yeah.
As believers, God has put us on earth to enjoy earth, to take care of it, but also to walk out the things that he's put in front of us for other people, you know, to help win souls, to make an impact. And if we just go through life frivolously, we don't pay attention to anything, and we just, oh, it's just a job, or it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can get caught up in not understanding that there are ebbs and flows. There are seasons of life. You're going to be up sometimes, you're going to be down. Have you ever read Ecclesiastes? Because if you is, he said there's a time and a place, there's a season for everything. And if the first key is to identify that you're in a season of life, number one. And then what type of season? Is it a reaping season? Is it a harvesting season?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is this where, you know, emotionally I'm stable in this season? There's been seasons of life where I was just a little too in my feels. For real. And you have to identify that that's, especially for men, let's identify that ain't the place you want to live in.
Yeah.
So let's get out of that before it becomes who we are. I've been saying that a lot lately. But we want to start calling things as they are.
Yeah.
You listen, you can't do much with something you can't identify.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good, Doc.
And so we want to understand the seasons. We want to acknowledge that we're in it, and then we want to see all that God is trying to show us in that season.
Talk about it.
Because graduation is necessary.
Yeah.
With new levels, there's new devils. We've heard that saying before. You go through sanctification, glorification, edification, all those types of things, right? Those are all seasons of faith that you deal with. And all require something different. We have to understand that when we're in a season where things aren't going the way that we like them, or we're uncomfortable, we might have to lean on other people in those seasons of life.
Right.
People that we trust, people that we know, people that we love. Right? We might have to get in I'm trying to say, you may be in a rut and you might have to take new steps. You might have to do things that you're not used to. So for you, even Randy, talking about being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to make sure that I heard clearly, or maybe if I haven't, what exactly about the season that you were in, and kind of coming out of now, that made it so uncomfortable for you?
So for me, oftentimes, man, when we don't know what to do, we resort back to what we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time I was single, I was not where I was in Christ. You have to be careful about going back to what you're comfortable in doing, because now you're more mature. Now you get conviction, and so now you just simply can't move that way. And so in not trying to move that way, it's like, well, how do I move? You're dealing with so much of an unknown. And so that's where I'm a logical thinker. I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver by nature. And so now to be in a season where I literally don't know what's next, there's discomfort there.
So you said something and it made me think about this. Is it true when you know better, you do better?
No, when you know better, you should do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily have a lot of input on that, but it's like, it's like they say, knowledge is power. And then somebody said, no, knowledge is potential power. It's what you do.
The application of knowledge.
The application of knowledge is power. Right. Yeah, to only have the knowledge is potential that you could do something with it, but if you never apply it. And so it's like you could know something, but not know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And so being in a season where you're uncomfortable, typically for a believer, is where actually it's the opposite. Like you said, what did you say again about the doing something that you've always like reverting back to what you've done.
What you're familiar.
Yeah. So for a believer, it's actually the opposite. You probably want to get back to what you did at first. If you're in a season of life where you're lost, or you're in a season that you can't identify, you probably want to get back to the basics. When you were praying.
He's saying as far as your walk. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, as far as your walk.
Yeah, not resorting back
No. I'm talking about
right,
just
gotcha.
as a believer.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
as being a new believer, this when typically a lot of us were the most zealous. Mm-hmm. When we were reading our word, we were praying, we were ministering, we were evangelizing. We was doing the whole nine, folks.
Right.
Anybody that wasn't thinking the way we was thinking was going to hell.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't make
Yep.
it true,
Right.
but it's one of those things where in certain seasons, God will put you there because he's trying to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have to understand that God has a rhyme and reason for everything he does.
Absolutely.
For us, sometimes I think we believe we just there with no purpose. We just here because God's a mean God. You know, just young, immature ways of thinking.
Absolutely.
That we revert back to when we don't allow what we've learned and who we've sat under to let those things permeate who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're only going to be able to experience life to the level of maturity and understanding that we have. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that you said when I was kind of telling you about me desiring to move on from the post office and to, do certain things, you were like, it's people need to understand. You had heard somebody say, people need to understand that it's not that I think I'm better, it's that I want better.
Right.
And so for you to be able to, that's the first thing, is identify that you want, like, and I'm talking about just specifically in the context of what I just said. Just identify that you're unhappy somewhere. Yeah. Not just because of, it may not be the people, it might not be the task that you have to what am I trying to say? It's not the task that you have to fulfill every day. But it could very much be that you're actually supposed to be in a different phase of life. You know, like, are you still on milk? Are you still on milk and you're supposed to be on meat?
Right.
God will stop at nothing to make sure that you are getting aligned with where he wants you to be.
Absolutely.
Because if we're not careful and we don't step up to the plate, even when we're fearful, even when we're lost, even when we're confused, you'll be like Moses, where it said that God burned with anger and he plotted to kill him because he wouldn't do what he told him to do. He said, hey, fam, yeah, you got the speech impediment. I get all that. Yeah, just do it. Just go speak. I got you. He always had to go find some stuff to help. He had to go get Aaron to help him to speak for him. Hey, you didn't just go do what I told you to do. So now, I got to turn this stick into something. I got to turn the staff into a snake and back to a staff. Like, don't make where God is trying to go something that God has to make these extra accommodations because you don't want to be faithful. Like that to me, if you want what God is destined for you to be passed on, just kind of hang around. Hang around in that season too long.
Right.
He's no respecter. He'll go to the next person who is in line and willing and ready to do what he has asked them to do. And listen, I am, to get where I'm at now, I feel a pressure to do exactly what he's telling me to do.
Man, it's pressing.
Like never before. Like, Anthony, if you don't do this now, you will never have a chance again. Whatever it takes, whatever it requires. How many times do we have to look at people who are less talented, who aren't as cool, who don't talk as well, who don't have as much knowledge, who haven't been through the testing and the fire, but they just are faithful over what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Before you realize that it ain't just for the smart, it ain't just for the white people, it ain't just for the affluent. It's for the people who are willing to appreciate the process and go through it.
Talk about it, sir.
Going through the things that you dealt with in 2016 into being in the space that you're in now, give that foresight of not necessarily what God told you, but just the basics that you took from it that will allow you to not even step back and play with being in that season of life again.
Right. any kind of adversity that I've ever faced, man, I've never pitied myself.
That's big.
I've never pitied myself. I've never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. I've never wanted some kind of handout or something like that, because I've always had this understanding that God plays chess with us. He's shifting us. He's moving us. He's positioning us to get us exactly where he needs to be, because he has to use us. There was a time period where Jesus walked the earth and miracles were conducted and lessons were taught and all that stuff like that. The disciples were left to spread the gospel. That's now our job, to be the body and to be used in certain capacities. At the end of the day, some people got to be the feet, some people got to be the hands, some people got to be the head.
Right.
The feet may have to get dirty, the hands may not.
Mm-hmm.
The head may just have to think without getting dirty at all. Everybody's equally as important. So don't think that I never took the time to say that this bad season, which to somebody else would pray to be where I was at,
yes,
was by happenstance. I knew that it was always a purpose, and I share with you that it didn't. When we were talking about kind of what was said during kind of my tough season in 2019, I was like, yeah, man, there were some people doing some talking. I was like, but at the end of the day, I experienced some stuff and did some things in the midst of the storm that some people may never experience in their life. They're saving money to do. They're on payment plan. I don't take it for granted.
Right.
So I never took that time. I always take, anytime I did try to feel that way, man, I took an account. I did a gratitude log, man, and realized how blessed I just was. How blessed I am, and how I'm able to move how I move, man, and how I deserve none of it. And so, man, I just, for me, man, it was always, man, just feel that it's part of, you gotta trust the plan.
Yeah.
The pain, there ain't been a child born yet that woman didn't hurt. The pain is birthing something special, man. You have to feel it, though. You have to feel it. Why do women say that pain hurts so bad, but they got multiple kids?
Right. It wasn't that bad.
It hurt like heck, but
yeah,
what's produced is this life, this incredible thing. And so don't. Some people gonna experience the pain. They don't want to get nothing out of it. Listen, if I'm finna hurt, I'm finna write a book and get paid.
Absolutely.
I'm finna take that time period of isolation, man, to come up with a game plan that y'all gonna feel me after this.
Absolutely. And just to end that illustration of the birth, the childbearing, how many women can't even focus on the baby because the pain is too great after the baby is born? I've never seen it. The reward is always worth
all smiles.
The pain that they endured to get it. It also made me think about this. Stop coveting what you can't handle. You could not have treated somebody with dignity and respect and love in the midst of the hardships that you were enduring for a season. So stop acting like you are worthy or you deserve what God has engraced somebody else with for a season of life. Try this. Sit down and take some notes. Learn how to go through seasons. Because if it's one thing I know, success leaves clues. God has left us everything that we need for godliness, and whatever the end of that saying is, righteousness and godly living. He's gave us a book. He's gave us people around us who we can look up to and admire and ask questions. Stop being so prideful as to not sit down at somebody's feet and learn.
Right.
But you want to be on stage so bad. You want the podcast so bad. But you haven't recorded and the sound wasn't working. You haven't recorded and the video stopped 5 minutes in. You haven't been up and you haven't got off at work at 2:00 and recorded at 2:30, 3:00. There are some things that, even for the low level that you may see somebody at, that you just aren't equipped to handle because you're too stubborn and hard-headed to put yourself in position to allow God to use you. Because trust me, there's no progress without resistance.
Right.
Some of you are too prideful to go humbly say, hey, bruh, I like what you got going. I mean, listen, I may not have no money to pay you, but I'll take you to lunch, bro. I'll come help you with your setup just to see what you got going, just to kind of see your mind behind it. I promise you, people value genuine, authentic people who would like to learn instead of the people who just want to cheat their way or finesse their way into stuff.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you, when we first started kind of getting it going, before we had to take the break for a little while, how many people were inboxing him, inboxing me? Hey, man, I like what you're going. And I know that I know. You just want to be able to sit down on camera and get your stuff off. You just want it to be about you. I don't hold that back because I love people, but I would just appreciate genuineness from people.
Right.
To just be honest with where they're at and what they're needing. Because you would be amazed at how you would be received if you weren't given some facade of who you think you should be or what you think I want to hear or Randy wants to hear. And Randy, like, at that point, Randy wasn't even in like he in now. Randy was like, it ain't even, bro, that's not my podcast. I can't help you
at all.
So you skip me and go to Randy, and Randy like, yeah, you gotta talk to AntMoe.
Yeah.
Good luck. And it's not to make this about me or Randy or the podcast. I'm just saying overall, there's a lot of facets in life that people would like to be preaching, would like to be teaching, would like raises, but they aren't willing to go through the dirty work that it takes to be prepared for the role. God is either going to keep you there because you're not paying attention or you don't appreciate what he is. Because some of us, I've been there. I knew exactly what God was telling me. I knew what he was telling me. But fam, listen, I ain't trying to hear all that.
Right.
This is where you got me. This is where I want to be. I don't receive what you're telling me, even though I hear it loud and clear.
Yeah. And
I bump my head 1,000 times. I am... No cap, I'm one of the most hard-headed people that you will ever meet. And I'll admit that. Because since I was 17 years old, I've been on my own. My grandmother passed away when I was I wasn't quite 17, maybe 18. I was 18. My grandmother passed away June 7, 2006. I was a freshman in college. My girlfriend that turned wife was pregnant at the time. I didn't have anybody that was trying to take me under their wing. I had to figure it out. The same kid that was 15 and would walk several miles to go work so I could get what I wanted. So you see the duality in God was showing me the type of man I was going to be. I would take care of my business under any circumstances, but on the same end, would not take authority from any man. So how can I be on a stage or a platform where I could impart something into people when I can't learn from the situations and circumstances that I've been in?
Right.
And to be honest, I think in a lot of arenas it's made it hard for anybody to really take me under their wing, to be honest. Because I've made some very bad decisions, to be honest. I've made some horrible decisions. I've done the same types of thing over and over and over. And now I can gladly say Anthony is not who he used to be. But I have been that person for so long that my ex probably doesn't believe. None of my exes probably believe it. Because I was great to a certain degree. But when the rubber met the road, I was just dealing with a bunch of trauma. I never learned from the first, which really, if we're going to break it down, the first real issues I probably dealt with was my dad rejecting me when I was 6 years old. Was dealing with my mom choosing a life of homosexuality and wayward, just being whatever you want to call that, where you like she just chose herself. And so essentially, she chose herself. And so that was something that was very hard for me to deal with. I could never trust a woman in my life. And when I was able to be attached to somebody, it was on 10. So what I can take from that is There was something that God was trying to teach me, but I chose my own path, and it left a trail of broken hearts and separate households now. And you know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of pieces to pick up that I have to deal with. So God kept me there. He kept me in that situation. What is it? What does it say when it talks about God will give you over after you continue things over and over again? God will give you over to a reprobate mind, meaning you stuck in that now. Enjoy. So now you look at the woman who got 5 kids and she's got 3 husbands and she's still hitting the club. What are we doing here, guys? Learn to appreciate the season that you're in and get what God is trying to get you now.
Please.
We was just talking about this. Thank God that we're getting what we're getting now. Because we don't want to be the 50-year-old guys that's like, man, God finally freed me from the... Man, I told my wife, I told Randy, I told anybody that would listen to me. Earlier this year, I felt strongly I was supposed to do a 21-day fast. Strongly, like God kept putting it on me in my quiet time. And I was like, fam, I ain't trying to do that, fam. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't trying to do it. And then it got to a point where things were so bad. I'm not kidding you. Things were just so bad. Like I had no money ever. Like me and Danny were bumping heads. Me and my baby mom was just everything was bad, literally. To where I was just like, bump it. I'm finna do it. I'm just gonna do it. And God honored my faithfulness. When I tell you that I felt something come off of me, like it was this pressing that I felt lift. Literally, I felt this come off of me. I can't tell you where, exactly when, but somewhere after that fast, I felt that come off of me and things changed.
Yep.
God honors when you obey. Obedience is better than sacrifice. This is scripture here.
Here for it, man. Embrace the season, man. Identify the season and understand that if you want to make it plain and bring it to reality, every season, the fall, the winter, all that, they require different clothing. You don't want to, we're in Texas, you don't want to wear a winter coat in the summer because it'll kill you.
Boy. You're going to be looking like old buddy dancing off 20.
And summer and summer clothes in the winter will kill you too. There's a time for you to move certain things, and you have to wear certain things. You have to take certain things off for certain seasons of your life, and you have to be okay with that. It is okay. And if you can tell yourself it's tough, but it's worth it, like the cross was. Talking to myself, if you can tell yourself that, then you come in with a warrior type mindset about you overcoming whatever it is that you're struggling with or whatever it is that you're going through. If you coming in with the mindset, it's gonna be all right. I did it before, I do it again. You're going to fail. Yeah, you're giving yourself too much credit. I'm guilty of this as well. I give myself credit for exercising discipline over here and then over here, and now I'm getting ready to slip up. So it's don't give yourself too much credit. You ain't that good. You're still weak. You still need God. You still need to command your day. There are certain things that you're not strong enough to handle and that you need to pray and ask God to keep away from you or to keep up off you or give you the strength to just do it. It'll take you 30 seconds. We have to do better. Absolutely. Myself, Anthony included. All this stuff that God kind of gives us before we pray before this podcast, and all the stuff that he gives us, half the time we probably talking ourselves.
Yes.
So
seriously,
I can't look down. I can't turn my nose up at nothing. But man, enjoy the season too, though. Yes. Because there are always pieces of even a tough season, especially if you're praying and walk through with Christ, that you may actually miss. Yes. There's a connection when you down bad When I'm weak, he's strong.
Yes. What we and I don't want to lose it. So what I took from what you said earlier is disobedience in different seasons may have different symptoms, but all lead to death. So please understand that just because in this season it might be a heat stroke and in this season it might be hypothermia, they both lead you to death.
Absolutely. Listening to the flesh.
So be aware of the season and be obedient to what that season requires. Anybody that has experienced a level of success always says, yeah, the money is cool, the clothes is dope, I appreciate all of this, but man, the journey was fire.
We were talking, we kind of, and this moves beyond actions and movements as well. In Romans 7, I told you I was reading that it said a mindset of flesh leads to death. Mm-hmm. The mindset of spirit leads to peace. Mindset.
Yes.
Waking up, command mindset.
Yes.
If you watch athletes before the game, they have on headphones. They're in the zone. They're isolated. They're preparing their mindset. Guys, listen. We're in a season right now where our head has to be on straight. We're in a game. It's tough. We're fighting the enemy. We're fighting ourselves. We're fighting our flesh. And it's going to have to start with a mindset. If you want peace, everybody be his peace, blah, blah, and all that old mess like that. The mindset of the spirit leads to peace. And text, okay.
Yeah. So this is another thing. And it's what we were just talking about. Yeah. And it ties into this. Taking every thought captive.
Paul.
Listen, take every thought captive, because when you're in when like being the type of person like we just talked about yesterday, where we can internalize that we good. I've been in this before. I'm gonna get out of it. Thoughts become things, and that's not some mumbo jumbo. That's a real, like, God thought of the world and spoke it into existence. Any dope idea that you've created, a clothing line, a food product, anything like that, you thought about it first. So if you're going to command that day and you're going to say, I'm going to live in peace, God is going to cover me. I don't care if a bad thing happened. It's not going to dictate me having a bad day. It's going to be a great day still. You have to start with it here.
Yeah.
That mindset piece is absolutely necessary.
Right.
Let's start taking thoughts captive. Let's start believing that God has called us to something greater. Let's start believing that we're already going to walk into that thing.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, if you never believe that you deserve to be there, you're never going to be there.
Wow.
Because you're going to go through the tough times. See, David was anointed. He was picked out of all his brothers. Some of them were strapping. Some of them were handsome. Some of them were all these things. And God was like, no, his heart's right. This is the man that I could use to win for the kingdom of Christ. Had to go through things. Had to go back to her. And how would you feel if you got anointed king and it was like, folk, just go back and make sure them sheep still good.
Right.
Because that's what you do. Yeah, this is who you called to be, but this is where you're at.
Yep.
And then go through a season where the king specifically asks for you. You do something that blesses him, and in return, he tries to kill you. He still had to be holding on to something that somebody told him, what Samuel told him, what God gave him. Thoughts become things. Believe that God is, first of all, believe that God is who he says he is.
Right.
And that he's going to do what he said he came to do, and that you're going to reap in due season. If you just endure without being weary. We're just going to give you some old scripture, Doc. We ain't going to sugarcoat nothing, add to it or take away. This is just the word.
That's it.
And so, but you have to learn the lesson that God is trying to teach you. And you have to enjoy being in that season, because that might be some of the best stuff that he can give you all year.
Facts.
Man, and some of my lowest seasons have been some of the times that I've got the best words, where I've been able to give something of myself on Facebook or Instagram, where somebody inboxed me and said, man, I was contemplating suicide.
Right.
Bro, you don't understand how much this blessed my life. Thank you for this. I needed this.
Yep.
This was a pick-me-up. I've got it. I'm telling you. And it's not because I'm so great or I'm such an amazing speaker. It's because God honors when you're faithful in the season that you're in.
Yep.
That's when the elevation comes. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Because you'll never be there again. I'm telling you, some of you are in the pasture. And in the next season of life, you're going to be in the penthouse and you'll have no accountability up there.
Wow.
You'll be roaming the rooftop while you're supposed to be at war. And you're going to see Bathsheba. What you going to do, son? Ma'am? For the season of life that you're in. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Because for some of us, it's impossible for us not to get to the place that God has called us to. It's just, are we going to learn what it takes to keep us there?
Love, man.
Listen, Doc, I feel that thing on me right now. I ain't going to hold you. I'm finna calm it down, folks, before I get to preaching in this
You
thing.
feel your help.
Hey, folks.
That man
I
feel his
that
help.
thing. I ain't going to hold
That
you.
man feel
I
his help.
promise you. Man, but listen, man. We thank you guys.
Absolutely,
we thank
yo.
you guys. We love you. We appreciate you for giving us a platform to allow to feed into people who desire it. Like I said, man, this is for the modern male believer who seeks accountability, encouragement, and entertainment. And so we know that there are women out here who value what we are bringing, and we thank you. We love you. We want you to continue to watch and share it with your friends and your girlfriend, them, the one you be hating on, and they be hating on you. Yeah, all them. All them folk in y'all little messy gossip group, folks.
Exactly, I'd be having it too.
But no, seriously though, we thank you and we appreciate anything that you guys add to us. If there's anything you want us to go into detail about even more, or there's other topics, please drop it in our inbox. We appreciate that. Listen, man, I don't have much, but what I give freely. You know what I'm saying? But listen, man, this is another episode of the Wayne's World Podcast. Like I said, coming live and direct from the couch, man. Listen, if there's anybody out there who is able to connect us with a realtor in the DFW area where we can have access to a building that we can rent out, and we have multi-functions for it, but we just need 24-hour access, please let us know, inbox us, or you can email me at waynesworldpod at gmail. Dang. waynesworldpod at gmail.com. Why I can't get that out? Hey, folks, don't judge me. Hey, folks, we've been on the road, folks. It's about 6-7 episodes.
That way.
No, waynesworldpod at gmail.com. Please email me if you have any inquiries. And right. But nah, man, listen, some of us are the Josephs of our family. Some of us are the only means in this lifetime that somebody's going to see to be able to experience something they've never experienced before. And so you need to be faithful and humble over it. You know? And what are you willing to do to get into to learn what God is trying to teach you? Or actually, I take that back. Season forsaken. But what season of life are you in, rather? What season of life are you in? And are you in a position where God can use you?
Yeah.
So, we thank you, man. We love you. We pray the Lord keep you always. You know what I'm talking about? To go ahead of that. You know what I'm saying? You know how we end every podcast? Life is hard enough, so don't just live. Please don't just live. Live elevated. Until next week, we love you. May the Lord keep you. We'll see you next week, kinfolk. Peace. I holla.
That way.